it's going to be absolutely critical for the regulatory systems across the world to be modernized, and in particular to be much more friendly to preventative medicine, which essentially is what we're talking about here, right? We're talking about giving people stuff that does rejuvenate them. So in that sense, it's a treatment, but the idea is to apply it to people who are not yet sick. So in that sense, it's prevention. Um, now, um, modernizing a, a really megalithic infrastructure in an established jurisdiction is very difficult indeed. And, people have been trying very hard for a long time to modernize the FDA, and it's not really worked. So what do you do? Well, a big part of why I'm so excited about Prospera is FOMO, fear of missing out, because Prospera is headed towards being a real global hub of medical tourism. Now, medical tourism is really only for relatively wealthy people, and therefore it's not my goal. I want everybody to benefit from new medicines as quickly as possible. But it does, end up, if it works out, if medicines are developed there and made available there that are only being used by a small number of people, but those small number of people are reporting very good results, and these medicines are not yet approved in places like the USA or Europe, then, that may create pressure from the public to accelerate the modernization of the regulatory machinery so that these things are more available. Now, in the US, there's a second parallel process going on right now, which arises largely because of the federal nature of the US, the fact that the individual states have their own laws. And of course, they don't have all their own laws, but they have a reasonable amount of independence. So Montana took the lead a few years ago in moving forward towards a situation where people could get hold of drugs that had not been all the way through the regulatory process. New Hampshire very recently passed the same kind of thing. It's getting around. It's probably happening in a bunch of other states fairly soon. It might even happen at the federal level. And this is kind of doing an end run around the inertia that exists at the federal level. So, I've got a reasonable amount of hope, but we've got to be doing all these things in order to essentially lubricate the process of making sure that when things come along that really do seem to have promise, then they can be made available to people as quickly as possible. We can't rely on one approach. So I mentioned earlier, I want to make aging the new COVID. That would work, but we can't rely on it.